Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaura Premanande Haribo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye. We're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, the first step in God realization, and the verse today is number 11. I'll say the word for word. Please repeat if you wish. Etat. It is nirvidyamananam, of those who are completely free from all material desires. Ichchatam, of those who are desirous of all sorts of material enjoyment. Akuta bhayam, free from all doubts and fear. Yoginam, of all who are satisfied. Nripa, O king. Nirnitam, decided truth. Hare, of the Lord. Shri Krishna. Nama, holy name. Anu, after someone. Always. Kirtanam, chanting. O king, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. Etan nirvidyamananam Ichatam Makoto Bhayam Yoginam Nripanirnitam Harer Namanukirtanam. Couple of chanters. Etan nirvidyamanadam Ichatam Makoto Bhayam Yoginam Nripanirnitam Hare Namanukirtanam. Go. Etan nirvidyamananam Ichatam Makoto Bhayam Yoginam Nripanirnitam Hare Namanukirtanam. Purport. In the previous verse, the great necessity for attaining attachment to Mukunda has been accredited. Previous verse was, that very Srimad Bhagavatam I shall recite before you because you are the most sincere devotee of Lord Krishna. One who gives full attention and respect to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam achieves unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord, the giver of salvation. So again, in the previous verse, the great necessity for attaining attachment to Mukunda has been accredited. There are different types of persons who desire to attain success in different varieties of pursuits. Generally, the persons are materialists who desire to enjoy the fullest extent of material gratification. Next to them are the transcendentalists who have attained perfect knowledge about the nature of material enjoyment and thus are aloof from such an illusory way of life. More or less, they are satisfied in themselves by self-realization. Above them are the devotees of the Lord who neither aspire to enjoy the material world nor desire to get out of it. They are after the satisfaction of the Lord Sri Krishna. In other words, the devotees of the Lord do not want anything on their personal account. If the Lord desires, the devotees can accept all sorts of material facilities, and if the Lord does not desire this, the devotees can leave aside all sorts of facilities, even up to the limit of salvation. Nor are they self-satisfied because they want the satisfaction of the Lord only. In this verse, Sri Shukadeva Goswami recommends the transcendental chanting of the holy name of the Lord. By offenseless chanting and hearing of the holy name of the Lord, one becomes acquainted with the transcendental form of the Lord, and then the attributes of the Lord, and then with the transcendental nature of his pastimes, etc. Here it is mentioned that one should constantly chant the holy name of the Lord after hearing it from authorities. This means that hearing from the authorities is the first essential. Hearing of the holy name gradually promotes one to the stage of hearing about his form, about his attributes, his pastimes, and so on, and thus the necessity of the chanting of his glories develops successively. It's not on?
This one's not working.
Oh. Hari Hari. This process, you want me to start over? This process is recommended not only for the successful execution of devotional service, but also even for those who are materially attached. According to Sri Shukadeva Goswami, this way of attaining success is an established fact, concluded not only by him, but also by all other previous acharyas. Therefore, there is no need of further evidence. The process is recommended not only for the progressive students in different departments of ideological success, but also for those who are already successful in their achievement as fruitive workers, as philosophers, or as devotees of the Lord. Srila Jiva Goswami instructs that chanting of the holy name of the Lord should be done loudly done. I'll start over. Srila Jiva Goswami instructs that the chanting of the holy name of the Lord should be loudly done, and it should be performed offenselessly as well, as recommended in the Padma Purana. One can deliver himself from the effects of all sins by surrendering himself unto the Lord. One can deliver himself from all offenses at the feet of the Lord by taking shelter of his holy name. But one cannot protect himself if one commits an offense at the feet of the holy name of the Lord. Such offenses are mentioned in the Padma Purana as being 10 in number. The first offense is to vilify the great devotees who have preached about the glories of the Lord. The second offense is to see the holy names of the Lord in terms of worldly distinction. The Lord is the proprietor of all the universes, and therefore he may be known in different places by different names, but that does not in any way qualify the fullness of the Lord. Any nomenclature which is meant for the Supreme Lord is as holy as the others, because they are all meant for the Lord. Such holy names are as powerful as the Lord, and there is no bar for anyone in any part of the creation to chant and glorify the Lord by the particular name of the Lord as it is locally understood. They are all auspicious, and one should not distinguish such names of the Lord as material commodities. The third offense is to neglect the orders of the authorized acharyas or spiritual masters. The fourth offense is to vilify scriptures or Vedic knowledge. The fifth offense is to define the holy name of the Lord in terms of one's mundane calculation. The holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord himself, and one should understand the holy name of the Lord to be non-different from him. The sixth offense is to interpret the holy name. The Lord is not imaginary, nor is his holy name. There are persons with a poor fund of knowledge who think the Lord to be an imagination of the worshipper, and therefore think that his holy name to be imaginary. Such a chanter of the name of the Lord cannot achieve the desired success in the matter of chanting the holy name. The seventh offense is to commit sins intentionally on the strength of the holy name. In the scriptures it is said that one can be liberated from the effects of all sinful actions simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. One who takes advantage of this transcendental method and continues to commit sins on the expectation of neutralizing the effects of sins by chanting the holy name of the Lord is the greatest offender at the feet of the holy name. Such an offender cannot purify himself by any recommended method of purification. In other words, one may be a sinful man before chanting the holy name of the Lord, but after taking shelter in the holy name of the Lord and becoming immune, one should strictly restrain oneself from committing sinful acts, with a hope that his method of chanting the holy name will give him protection. The eighth offense is to consider the holy name of the Lord and his chanting method to be equal to some material auspicious activity. There are various kinds of good works for material benefits, but the holy name and his chanting are not mere auspicious holy services. Undoubtedly, the holy name is holy service, but he should never be utilized for such purposes. Since the holy name and the Lord are of one and the same identity, one should not try to bring the holy name into the service of mankind. The idea is that the Supreme Lord is the supreme enjoyer. He is no one's servant or order supplier. Similarly, since the holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord, one should not try to utilize the holy name for one's personal service. The ninth offense is to instruct those who are not interested in chanting the holy name of the Lord about the transcendental nature of the holy name. If such instruction is imparted to an unwilling audience, the act is considered to be an offense at the feet of the holy name. The 10th offense is to become uninterested in the holy name of the Lord even after hearing of the transcendental nature of the holy name. The effect of chanting the holy name of the Lord is perceived by the chanter as liberation from the conception of false egoism. False egoism is exhibited by thinking oneself to be the enjoyer of the world and thinking everything in the world to be meant for the enjoyment of oneself only. The whole materialistic world is moving under the false egoism of I and mine, and the factual effect of chanting the holy name is to become free from such misconceptions. O King, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. I first offer my respectful obeisances to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to all the previous acharyas, and to all the assembled devotees. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Yesterday, we began in the first canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, the verse Dharma prochita kaitavo traparamo nirmatsaranam satam. And in the verse, it mentioned that this is a literature meant for those who are non-envious. It's a high standard of entry. The Bhagavat, however, is available to everyone, as made clear in this verse. Any process must have an easy enough entry so that anyone can take advantage of it. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Raja Vidya Rajaguyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Dharmyam Susukam Kartamaviyam. That this process of bhakti is Pratyaksham Avagamam Dharmyam. It's the perfection of all processes because you can directly enter it yourself. Pratyaksha means you can see it for yourself, you can enter it yourself. A philosophical system or a so-called practice that's not practical, or that has no easy entry for everyone, is useless. It's simply theoretical. It may be intellectually stimulating, but we're left still with our engagement in the material world with no replacement. So here, etan nirvidyamananam ichatamakato Shukadeva Goswami is telling us about the entryway into the process of bhakti proper, which begins by chanting the holy names of the Lord. And who's it available to? Everyone. He gives the categories of people who can enter, basically covering everyone. Those who have all material desires, those who have no material desires, those who are kings, those who are yogis. Categorically, giving several categories means that he's showing a spectrum of people who can enter into the process, and that means everyone. And as far as the authenticity of the process, he says, nirnitam, which is an emphasis on the fact that it's already been vetted. So he's giving us an axiomatic process that has been decided upon by the great thinkers since time immemorial. So this opens a conversation about the Bhagavata process, hearing it and also chanting the holy names of the Lord, and who may take part in it. We know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught the Bhagavatam. Whatever teachings Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives in the Chaitanya Charitamrita are the Bhagavatam, and vice versa. And Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Shudra Kene Noi Ye Krishna Tattva Veta She Guru Hoy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphasized such statements as I just quoted, which means anyone who takes up the process of Krishna consciousness and learns it thoroughly, participates in it, can teach it to others. In other words, there's access, we're hearing in this verse, to everybody. It can also be distributed by those who have access to it, so they can give it to other people. consider the basic tenets of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. We find that in the first 14 verses of the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. That's the Mangalacharana, but it's also the statement of purpose of the book, beginning with Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan Ishan Isha Vitarakan. He begins by offering respects to the Gurus, the Vaishnavas, the various incarnations of the Lord. And he goes on to talk about the advent of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda. And then he describes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being Bhagavan in three aspects, just as Srimad Bhagavatam does. Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yaj jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdite. Sutta Goswami gives this verse to the sages at Naimisharanya when they're eager to hear who is the absolute truth, what are his various features, what's his nature. He says he's advaya gyan tattva. He's one thing, one truth, but there are varieties within the truth. Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. And Kaviraj Goswami is mirroring that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Mangalacharana, where he then describes how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Then we come to a benediction verse which also announces the accessibility of this process. Anarpita charim shirat karani avatirna kalau samarpayitamun tojwala rasam sabhaktishriyam. Hari purata sundara dyuti kadamba sandipita sadahare akandare spuratu vasachinandana. In this verse we hear anarpita. Arpita means to give something. So anarpita means it hasn't been given. Anarpita charim shirat. Since when hasn't it been given? Well, since a long time, longer than anybody can remember, or maybe never given. And what hasn't been given? Unatojwala rasa. The ujwala rasa means there are various methods of self-realization. There's a preface to what I'm about to say about ujwala rasa. There are various conceptions of the absolute truth, or there are various processes of self-realization. However, they don't satisfy the soul unless one has a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We learn this in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yene ravindaksha vimuktamaninas toyasta bhavad avashuta buddhaya aruya krishnena paramparam tata patantya tonadrita yushmarangraya. The demigods praying to Lord Krishna within the womb say, unless one has a relationship with the lotus-eyed Lord, then whatever other process one takes up to to achieve liberation, to achieve self-realization, it's insufficient, and patantyada, what's more, you'll fall down because it won't satisfy you. And we find Narada Muni also chastising Vyasadeva, who had compiled the Vedas. He had even given a semblance of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavat Purana. But then he tells him that Naishkarmyam apyachuta bhava varjitam nashobate jnanam alam niranjanam kutakmana shashvara bhadramisvare nacharpitam karma yadapya karanam. He said, this is Narada's the guru of Vyasadeva. And Vyasadeva was feeling a little off. And he met his guru and said, I'm feeling a little off. What's the matter? And he said, because you blew it. You compiled all these literatures, you've misguided everybody, it's jagupsitam, it's horrible what you've done. Oh, what should I do, Guruji? He said, you have to present the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only then, when people understand them, can they become attracted to the spiritual world and leave the material world behind. He said, Naishkarmyam apyachuta bhava varjitam nashobate jnanam alam niranjanam. What you've given so far, nashobate, it's not attractive. Aesthetically, it's not pleasing. And Naishkarmyam, even though it talks about non-fruitive work and self-realization and all these types of things, he said, apyachuta bhava varjitam, because it doesn't have a chuta bhava, that loving sentiment for God, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's useless. And what to speak of all the things you said about following the path of karma kanda. He said that's the worst, because it's misery from the beginning to the end. So, anarpita charim shrirat karuni avatirna kalau means that in Kali Yuga, there's an avatar. Kali Yuga, avatirna kalau. In the Kali Yuga, there's an avatar of Krishna that comes specifically to distribute what's never been given or hasn't been given since anybody can remember. And that's the clear idea of the relationships that Krishna has with his devotees, the topmost of which is the Ujjvala rasa, or the fact that Krishna can have such intimate connection with his devotees in form of what Prabhupada calls conjugal love, like the gopis. And topmost amongst that is Srimati Radharani, which is the most I'm going to say about that. Anarpita charim shirat karanyavatirna kalau samarpayitum anutodra. So we have nacharpitam, which means it hasn't been distributed. Now we have samarpitam, same word, arpitam, but sam as the prefix, which means it's totally been given. Like sam kirtan, this is the wide involvement of lots of people doing it at the same time. So samarpitam means the complete distribution. Everything's being given to everybody everywhere. And access open, widely open. So how the Bhagavatam's announcing, Shukadeva Goswami's announcing something that we should be interested in. Because we may think, all right, fine for Shukadeva Goswami, these are liberated souls, how am I ever going to touch this? And here he's saying it at the outset in his teachings to Parikshit Maharaj, no, it doesn't matter who you are. You may be desirous of all material enjoyment. You could still enter. Entry open, wide open. And then specifically he's talking about the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna. You can say the holy name. And going back to Rupa Goswami's Namashtakam, he gives this verse about the name and the named. So we have Vacham Vachakam Ityudeti Bhavato Nama Swarupa Dvayam Purvasmat Parameva Hanta Karanam Tatrapi Jani Mahe Yes Tasmin Vihita Parada Nivaha Prani Samanta Bhave Astyene Dam Upasya Supihi Sadanandam Bujao Majjati. This is highly consequential, so listen carefully. Are you ready? I'm not convinced. I think you're in dreamland somewhere. You ready to hear this? Okay. He says, the name and the named are the same. Then he says, but they're not the same. Why? Because one's better than the other. Purvasmat parameva hanta karanam. Which one's better, the name or the names? And you say, Vaisesika, they're the same. But then he says, no, they're different. And he said, okay, the name is better than the named. Why? Because Purvasmat Parameva Hanta Karanam, it's more merciful than Krishna. The name is more merciful than Krishna. Karanam means Purvasmat Karameva Hanta Karanam Tatrapi Jani Mahe. That people who have studied this, they understand this, Jani Mahe. They've come to knowledge that the name is better than the named. And then he says, Yas tasmin vihita parab nibaha prani samanta bhavet. If you've offended Krishna, if you chant the name, then asyenedam, this is the consequential part and it connects to what I'm saying about access. Asya means an opening. And in this context, it means the mouth. And asyenedam, it means the instrumental case of asya. Asyenedam, it means the mouth, the opening that you have. Check and see if you still have one. Still there? Asyenedam, Upasya, you can use your mouth for worship. But upasya has the meaning of upasya means like upa. Upasya means you're coming close to someone, so close it's intimate. You have a direct connection with the person that you're speaking to. This is so nice. It's the theology of the name. If you just say the name of God, you're in communion with Him right then and there. No difference whatsoever. And asyenedam upasya means if you want to have an intimate connection with God, there is no closer way you can connect with the Supreme except by saying His name. Asyenedam upasya. And then he tells why the name is so nice. Because you may be an aparati, but if you chant the name, Asyenedam upasya sopihi saranandam bhujao majjati, the name will take you and dunk you in a huge pool of ananda. Would you like that? Say yes. Yes. When you get an offer like that from the Bhagavad, you just say yes. Okay, so Asyenedam upasya sopihi saranandam bhujao majjati. Majjati doesn't mean there's a little sprinkle, like you come around in Artik and get a little drop. I got one in the eye this morning. Mangal Artik woke me up. And it means the whole body, everything plunged. Majjati. Say majjati. Say it again. With a little more enthusiasm. If anybody asks you, how are you? Say, Saranandao majjati. I'm plunged in the ocean. Why? Because you have the holy name. So, access. This is one of the characteristics of the Bhagavatam. It's easy to follow all the way through. You can read the Bhagavat, each canto successively, and it will dawn upon the reader that the Bhagavat knows me better than I know myself. What's more, it's inviting me. Of all people, it's inviting me. It's not for somebody 2,000 years ago. It's not for some great sage on the mountaintop. It's for me right now, right here. The access is open and it's direct. And so, highly consequential and highly important. Then, of course, in the purport, Prabhupada then says, now you've got such access, don't take it lightly. Be careful when you approach. Some traditions, like in Judaism, they have this once a year. There's an opportunity. From the burning bush, Moses has got the name of God. And then once a year, the high priest would say it out loud. And people would come and they would crowd the temple grounds just to hear the name one time. And then it came that nobody else could say it except the high priest. And then it came that it was so noisy with people offering respects they couldn't even hear the name. And they keep it locked up. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, give it to everybody. Distribute it everywhere. Let everybody hear the name of God directly. But be careful. If you've taken it up as a practice, then be aware of the fact that it's not to be misused for our own purposes. It's a form of worship from the heart. And there is no other comparison in any of the literatures about fruit of activities, any of these things that cannot compare to the name because it's a direct worship of the Lord. So those are a few introductory remarks, and now we'll take any reflections or questions that you have that you feel would continue the Bhagavatam Express. Yes.
Hare Krishna, thanks for the next class. My question is, the verse says it's for those who are desirous of one material enjoyment, but the 10th offense also says that it is to consider, to still have attachments with the material activities. So are these two kind of in conflict?
No, because the second case you mentioned, to maintain material desires, comes after the idea that even if somebody has material desires, they can begin the process. The next statement is, after you've taken it up, you're fully conscious of what you're doing, then don't try to maintain those material desires and chant. You should have the impetus, the desire, the inclination to give up the material desires. Don't maintain them. What kind of things do we maintain? Like, does anybody have a house plant? Only one person? I have a house plant. But I have to maintain it. Otherwise, it will expire, so I have to water it. So once you take to the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, don't water those material desires. Don't maintain them. So it means you have access, even if you have material desires, but once you take up the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, then you should allow the holy name to take away those material desires. Don't resist. Open for questions or reflections. Yes, Mahabhagavata Prabhu.
Mahaprabhu has given it perfectly and completely, just like you said in the verses that you quoted. But yet, like, I don't have it. I don't have anything. And
You don't have anything? I beg to differ. Look at you. You're effulgent. And you're giving Krishna consciousness to hundreds, if not thousands of people, wholeheartedly. I mean, it's obvious. When you see those who are serious about Krishna consciousness, you can see what they're getting. They're getting empowerment to be able to teach it to others, to guide others, so they can elevate themselves. That's an important mood, attitude, because we're beggars. We ask again and again, please give me more. And a couple of our devotees were talking about their circumambulation of Govardhan once they got to Uddhavakund. There was a small boy. It wasn't Krishna. This isn't a story. He was a beggar, a little boy, professional. And he asked them to give some money. All they had was one big bill, just a 500 rupee note. And so they weren't about to hand that over to him. And the boy kept following them. They got all the way to Radhakund. That's from Uddhavakund to Radhakund walking. It's probably another 45 minutes. Kept following, kept asking him the whole way there. And other people were watching it. And about halfway over, they thought, well, somebody should give the kid something. So they tried to offer him some money, and he wouldn't take it. He said, I'll only take it from them, because he was so dedicated. He had followed him so far. He said, only these guys, they have to give. They got all the way to Radhakund, and somehow Krishna Saka Prabhu said, I realized his sincerity. I felt he had followed me so far. He said, okay, here, take it. He gave him the 500 rupee note. The kid went off happy. And in a similar way, we have to have this mood of a beggar. Nambina kichu nahi ko ora choda bhuvanamaje. We should NHA ashodi maya nashi parolagi. Harinam ma mantra lao to me magi. Magi means beg. You can't be too proud to beg. So the mood that you're expressing, Mahabhagavata, the devotees all appreciate. It's like, I'm the one who got left out. Please give me something. I'm the runt of the litter. I couldn't get anything. Everyone else has it. And therefore, we should chant with that mood of the beggar. That please, I didn't even get a molecule. Krishna, please let me have one tiny taste of this. And we should always remain in that position as we chant and as we serve. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Okay, yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. You mentioned the 6th verse of the Namashtakam and spoke about the distinction. It's kind of confusing me right now because often we say that the holy name, there's no difference between Krishna and the holy name, but Rupa Goswami here is creating a distinction. Could you talk a bit more about that in terms of the distinction and why the vibration of the holy name is even more merciful than Krishna himself, and why is there a distinction between both?
Well, he mentions it in the verse itself. It's that even if someone has offended Krishna, the holy name will still pursue us. For instance, here in Toronto, there are souls who inhabit the city. They're all parts and parcel of Krishna. However, most of them, I dare say, have forgotten Krishna completely. What's more, a large portion of them, if you asked about God, they would say, there is no God, I don't believe in God. So they've estranged themselves from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they're all hiding out here in Toronto, trying to avoid the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the holy name comes from Goloka Vrindavan. Golur Kera Prema Dana Harinama Sankirtan. He comes down as the Nam avatar, and he pursues these people in Toronto. And they may try to ignore it, but if you have a Harinam, I heard the Potato Festival last night was a big success. Did anybody go? 20,000 people there. Did you chant Hare Krishna? Did the potato heads get any holy name? Yeah, there were 20,000 potato heads there. And they went there just to enjoy a festival of worshiping the potato, which Irish people do. But they got the holy name, came there and said, excuse me, buddy, but you're from the spiritual world. And they're like, what? That's another verse it's in the Namashtakam. Yada basyo pyudyan kavalita bhava dvanta vibhavo drisham tatpandanam apidishiti bhakti pranayanim. Rupa Goswami says, this holy name, even if someone is tattva andhanam, means they're completely blind to the truth. They went to the potato festival just to get a French fry or something like that. It's like, yay, potatoes, we love potatoes. They went there and they heard Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. And then it says that yadabaso, that even a dim reflection of holy name for somebody who hears that name, then it says, Yadabaso Pyudyan Kavlita. The holy name rises like the sun. Bhava Dvanta Vibhavo. Out of the darkness of the material world, the holy name comes and it starts to show its light. Tattva Andanam. Drisham Tattva Andanam. No, Drishati. Yadabaso Pyudyan Kavlita Bhava Dvanta Vibhavo. I said it a minute ago. It says basically that those who are completely blind to the truth, when they hear the holy name, then it awakens a sense of bhakti. Tattva andanam drishyati. They all said bhakti pranayanam. They have an inclination toward bhakti when they hear it, even if they're completely blind to the truth. So, of course, Krishna and his name are non-different, but within the absolute truth there are varieties. Unlimited varieties. And the holy name is the most celebrated of all the various features of Krishna because he's so merciful. One of the reasons is because he's so merciful, and he'll come to the potato festival and he'll give himself, he'll show himself to the blind, the people who are blind to the truth. They suddenly think, Hare Krishna, that's a good idea. They feel some bhakti in their heart because they've heard the holy name. Does that help? Okay. Yes. We're counting down, 5 minutes left.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, I wanted to ask, whatever we read or we hear, and specifically this verse, everything, the summum and bonum of everything is considered to be chanting, attentive, loving chanting. And despite hearing that for many, many years, the chanting happens, and we might have also got some taste some days, but yet I get back to the habit of chanting it very mechanically. So what is that one tip that I can always remember just before chanting, so that I remember everything that we are doing, I have to focus and chant attentively and lovingly?
Tolerate whatever benign discomfort may initially be there, with the complete understanding that you have in your intelligence that the holy name is non-different. In the beginning, there's a discomfort that I'd rather be somewhere else. Influence of rajas. Please get up. Let's go look at something. Let's go do something else. But if we're able to tolerate that, which is required for any kind of practice, you have to tolerate your own ineptitude, you have to tolerate benign discomfort, and work through it. So, in one of the quotes that I'll give tomorrow, I cultivated some quotes Prabhupada gave about chanting japa, and one of them said, you should sit down very tightly and chant the holy name for a long time until you become one-minded with the name. So you have to tolerate that initial stage, work through it. Just know it's going to come and say, I'm sticking in here. You've done it. You went to school, right? Did you tolerate all the times you had to go to class or do studies and all that kind of stuff? And now look at you. You're highly educated and successful, right? You look like that. So, same thing with the holy name. You stay there and chant. And it helps to cultivate ahead of time the understanding that there'll be times when it seems boring, but you have to use your intelligence to work through that. And don't worry, you're not alone. Everyone, Krishna, Arjuna, Krishna again in the Bhagavatam talking to Uddhava talks about how difficult it is to control the mind. Krishna says to Uddhava, the mind has been our nemesis since the time immemorial. He said it has fearsome godlike powers over us, the mind. And it's only for the sake of the mind, he tells Uddhava, that we've been taking birth after birth in this material world. So if you're going to declare war, this is where to do it. If you've already gone through the academic process and you said, whatever it takes, I'm going to get my degree, right? So same thing, whatever it takes, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to continue chanting. Because nirnitam, it's already vetted. Take it from Shukadev Goswami, said, look at this works. And it's the main thing, only thing that works. So just take it, have faith in it, and sit through the boredom until tomorrow. And keep doing it. Okay, yes. 2 minutes left.
Maharaj, it says here, but one cannot protect himself if one commits an offense to the feet of the holy name. But yet, if somebody chants the name in a derogatory way, when they say, oh, here goes this Hare Krishna.
That's different, because somebody chanting in a derogatory way is innocent. Like, you know, you chant at a potato festival, and a potato head walks by and goes, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Once you guys go take a long walk off a short pier, and they don't know what they're doing. But when somebody comes into knowledge of what the holy name is, one has to be very careful about the process. But even then, we may notice our own ineptitude, our tendency to be offensive. And then the Padma Purana, Prabhupada referred to it. It says, Nama parada yuktanam naman yeva harantyagam abhishani parayuktani nama e varta karani cha. If you're an offensive chanter, don't raise your hand, but just think to yourself, if you've ever chanted offensively, This is for you. It said, if you're chanting offensively, what should you do? A, I'll give you a quiz. A, stop chanting immediately and go to the potato festival. B, you should whip yourself. C, wear a horsehair shirt the rest of the day. Or D, keep chanting. D, keep chanting is the answer. It says, because even if you're offensive, nama parada yuktanam, namanyeva harantyagam, you have to keep chanting, because by continuous chanting, you'll clear the offense and gradually come to the pure stage. There's a little catch-22. When people become offensive, they usually stop chanting because they lose their taste, and they start thinking, this is imaginary. Some people do that. They think, well, these talking snakes in your religion. You have talking snakes, you have an elephant with a big belly, and he removes all obstacles. And this constant chanting, that they become covered again, too offensive. So don't stop chanting, because it's your only refuge. Even when you're offensive, if you continue chanting, then Krishna the name will save you. Prabhupada says as much, and the two verses, the continuum verses, they go, Api chet sudaracharo bhajate imam ananya bhag sadareva samantavya samyak vyavasito hisa. Means that if you're offensive, worldly, but your intention is to become a devotee and you keep practicing, everybody else, he's talking to everybody else. He said, you see that person that you think is a total loser? Not. That person you have to consider a sadhu, because he or she is trying. And then in the next verse, Krishna says, Shripram bhavati dharmatma shashvas shantim negachati konteya prachitanihi name bhakti pradashati. Tells Arjuna, tell the whole world, because they'll believe you, not me. But if you say it, if they continue, then they'll come to the highest level. And in the purport, Prabhupada said, even if somebody's offensive, the only remedy is to keep chanting. He says, without stoppage. So there's this audiobook I got. I haven't listened to more than the first part because I found the guy obnoxious who's presenting it. But somebody asked me when I was walking out of the temple in Wales, they said, do you know such and such? And what is it called? 10x? Something about 10x. He wrote a book about how you have to 10x everything. Whatever you're doing, massive action, you have to take massive action. And so he talks about that. And that's how you overcome your lack of momentum, your procrastination. Rise to the occasion and 10x it. So if you're in the doldrums of chanting, you have to 10x it. Chant more, not less, and chant louder, not quieter, and focus more, 10x your chanting. That's what I got out of the audiobook. 10x your chanting. I'm going to leave it at that for today. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Panchatattva, Sri Shukadev Goswami, if you so desire, please empower us to take the spirit of today's verse into our lives and make it our mainstay, that we're completely serious about chanting the Mahamantra without stoppage, and we 10x our practice. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer?
Yes.
In part or in whole, please say Hare Krishna. Vansha kalpaduruscha kripasindabheva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha nanta koti vaishnavihi jai gaur prema nande haribol.